Hello students, let us start the new lesson. Before starting, I want to tell you a story, that is Akbar Birbal story. Once Akbar received a letter from his neighboring king asking for a potful of wisdom. Akbar was worried. How can he send a potful of wisdom? So he consulted his clever jester Birbal. Birbal asked the king to give him some time. Then Birbal thought he just grew a pumpkin in a pot. After some days, he gave it to the king. The king in turn sent the same to the neighboring king and with a note. Now, what was there in the note? Yes, it was written that the pot of wisdom or any pumpkin, pot of wisdom and the pot should not be damaged while removing the wisdom. Then it was very difficult. It is not possible to remove the wisdom without damaging the pumpkin inside the pot. So he realized his mistake. His foolishness, and he went to Akbar and fell at his feet, and he begged the king to forgive him. This is how Birbal planned to fool the neighboring king, and this is how he smartly and wisely planned his judgment. Now, the similar story is there in your lesson, the never-ending story. This is also a story about Akbar and Birbal, where Akbar once fell ill and he had developed the sickness of lack of sleep. He could not sleep for a long time and he would get up late in the early morning. So he wanted to get rid of that sickness. So what happened? How did he get rid of that sickness? And how did the ministers help him to get rid of the sickness? Let us see from the lesson. The never-ending story. I'll read through the lesson. Once Emperor Akbar fell ill. Though the illness was not very serious, it prevented the emperor from sleeping till the early hours of morning. The royal physicians tried various medicines but without any effect. Yes, after he recovered, he could not sleep for a long time at night. So, this prevented the emperor from sleeping till the early hours in the morning. So, this was the problem with him. The royal physicians in the court, they tried various medicines but in vain. Next, in the end, a Hakim suggested that the emperor should hear a story before retiring to bed every night so that his mind might remain cheerful and enable him to sleep peacefully. Hakim, in the sense doctor, in the court of the king. He suggested the emperor to hear a story before going to bed, so that even so many people do that. If they don't get sleep, they would read some novels or books, then they'll get sleep. So in the same way, he also suggested the same, to hear a story every night before going to bed. Then it would make him cheerful and he would get sleep immediately, he said. It seems a good suggestion, said the emperor, but how shall I get a man who will tell me a story every night? Yeah, that was fine, listening to a story, but who would tell him a story every night? Then Hakim says, that's easy, remarked the Hakim. You have in your darbar a number of courtiers, Huzur. You could certainly ask each one of them to tell you a story every night. Yes, he had so many courtiers in his court. Hakim suggested the king to ask each one of them to tell him a story every night. Now, it became a real problem for the Darbaris to tell a tale to their master every night. For though they managed to tell a story, as the emperor would not sleep, the minister had to add on another tale to the first and go on with it. So how long they would tell the tale? Till he gets sleep. He could not sleep at all. Yes, they managed to tell one by one each of the courtiers, and the emperor would not sleep. And he asked one by one, After that, what happened? The minister had to add on another tale to the first and go on with it. And this went on till not the listener but the storyteller began to feel sleepy. Yes, the king would not get sleep, but the person who would be telling the story would get sleep. In the end, not knowing how to get out of this situation, the Darbaris consulted Birbal. Now, he agreed to tell a story to the emperor to put him to sleep. Now, they had a problem that the courtiers, they could not solve the problem. Yes, then they consulted Birbal to suggest a plan. Yes, then Birbal agreed to tell the story to the emperor to put him to sleep. Next, how he told the story to the emperor, all this we'll see in the next class. Now let us end up the class here. Thank you.